The only thing necessary for evil to succeed is for good men to do nothing. It's important that people wake up to what is going on. It's time that we read the Constitution. It is error that needs the support of government. Truth can stand alone. That was given to us by Thomas Jefferson. Well, thanks for tuning in to The Real Story. My name's Daniel Hapney. Tonight, I don't know, I guess it's the same story, but a different time. But for you out there, you may think, oh my gosh, here's a guy who says CIA equals Cocaine Importation Agency. Let's call this show, what are we going to call this show this week? Let's call it, Do They Lie to You About the War on Drugs? Have you been lied to about the war on drugs?
A Gulfstream jet that crash-landed in Mexico in late September bearing a load of nearly 4 tons of cocaine was used by the CIA for trips between the U.S. and Guantanamo Bay. But that's just the tip of the iceberg.
I speak as a retired international covert operative for the Drug Enforcement Administration. What we're uncovering here through the hard and courageous work of journalist Bill Conroy is something nobody, Central Intelligence, FBI, they don't want this out there. They don't want anybody peeking under the rugs that Mark is talking about this plane crash carrying 4 tons of cocaine. Any kind of corruption you could imagine occurs. And when you talk about 4 tons of cocaine coming into the United States with the involvement of a man who worked as a pilot for CIA, DEA, and FBI, who was obviously somebody who was a shaker and a mover.
His jet crashed in late September of this year in the Yucatan. It had about 4 tons of coke on it, and it flew out of Fort Lauderdale to Mexico, and from Mexico to Colombia, Rio Negro, Colombia, is where it took off from, which is just outside of Medellin. And, it obviously picked up the coke in Colombia and was headed back toward our neck of the woods.
Yeah, that's the route.
Right. And it was gonna land at an airport, again in the Yucatan, probably from what I've been able to gather, loaded down with that much cocaine and had to refuel.
Yeah. Exactly.
But as they said, someone didn't grease the deal right. In the airport they were going to land at, there was a ship change, and they wouldn't let them land. So they went to another airport, tried to land, they couldn't land there, and they basically got stranded in the air, ran out of fuel, and had to ditch it. And that's how they got caught. So it was a deal that went bad, apparently. What's come out on it so far is the jet that they were flying, we got the FAA records on it, and the Europeans have been looking into the rendition flights that the CIA, the agency, was running for, Guantanamo. And these tail numbers on this jet that crashed show up in some of their research as being used, this jet being used for at least 3 flights to Guantanamo between 03 and 05.
So let's think about it. Iran-Contra, oh my gosh, for you people with gray hair, you remember that, don't you? Yeah, moving cocaine, where? Into Mena, Arkansas. Who was the governor? I guess his name was Clinton in Arkansas at the time. And who got caught? The CIA. And what were they doing? Iran-Contra, Ollie North. Now he's one of your what? Talking heads on the television. He's telling you what the truth is today. This is Ollie North, the guy who's I can't remember. Congressional testimony. When they caught the CIA with drugs, what do you have to say, Mr. North? I can't remember. And so anyway, we'll go over some news, then we're going to go to that. Why? Because now heroin's back in style. Where do they grow heroin? So anyway, here's one from Kansas, okay? Kansas, Oklahoma officials plan to stop livestock movement. This is an exercise they did on October 22nd. So you got to ask yourself, why are they planning to stop the movement of cattle and, in this case, hogs and chickens, what we consider livestock? Okay, the state police of Kansas and Oklahoma officials plan to stop livestock movement exercise October. Kate 10, the Associated Press, report that state officials in Oklahoma and Kansas are planning an emergency exercise to test interstate coordination in case of stop livestock movement order. Boy, we built FEMA camps. You see the police state, you see the goons, where you now got to take your shoes off, but we want to stop the cows from moving from state to state. Is that so that people get hungry? Wonder. Why are they practicing this? It's something they got to practice, evidently. Okay, is this like the military checkpoints? Should I mention Northcom? Do you know what Northcom is? Yeah, okay. So anyway, you'll love this one. This is the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, that is, shuts off yesmen.org and websites of hundreds of other activist groups. That's right. Does this country have freedom of speech, or do you remember free speech zones? Do you? Yeah, you know, they had the Democratic Convention, free speech zones. They had the Republican Convention, free speech zones. Wasn't Stalin the first guy? Was he the first guy to use free speech zones? But here we go. This is Washington, October 23rd. Hundreds of activist organizations had their internet service turned off last night after the U.S. Chamber of Commerce strong-armed an upstream provider, Hurricane Electric, to pull the plug on Yes Men and May 1st and PeopleLink, and a 400-member strong organization with strong commitment to the protection of free speech. So your government is now pulling the plug via the internet on free speech. Why? Because network TV is owned by what? The banksters? What, they tell you all the same story right out, what Washington wants you to hear? And it's not that Washington's bad. I will say that there are criminals in Washington, and you could call it the District of Criminals, but I thought it was interesting. This is a blow against free speech and demonstrates in gory detail the full hypocrisy of the chamber. Send Andy Birchman of Yes Men. The only freedom they care about is the economic freedom of large corporations to operate free of hassles of science, reality, and democracy. So anyway, just so you know, the United States Chamber of Commerce, and that's not me. I mean, I'm not telling you this thing. You can look it up yourself. Okay? So anyway, you'll love this. You know how you have to take your shoes off the air? Because you might be the shoe bomber. So anyway, you'll love this. Bus checks now. For you Holocaust survivors, do you remember getting ID checks at the train station? Where are your papers? Oh, you're coming into town, out of town? Where are your papers? Who are you? We need to do a census so we can figure out who the Jews and the Gypsies and the Communists are. So anyway, you'll love this. Transportation Security Administration workers, they check bus passengers as part of a sting set up by Viper, Visible Intermodal Prevention and Response Teams, at the Greyhound bus station in Orlando, Florida on October 22nd. A lot was happening on October 22nd, huh? The operation deployed workers from multiple agencies to check baggage of passengers in an effort to augment safety of the traveling public. So, here's some news for the week. This is, more news for the week, and we're going to roll right into this. But anyway, Fed budget deficit. This is the federal government budget deficit, okay? $176 billion in a month. You have no clue what that means, do you? Because the Patriots on tonight, the Red Sox nation. You guys don't care anything about your grandchildren. I apologize for even mentioning it. What's a budget deficit mean to you? Are the bankers devaluing your currency? What will life be like for you and your children when your money buys nothing? All right, that's the thought. And you thought the IRS only seized churches, okay? Federal prosecutors took steps to seize 4 U.S. mosques. Pretty interesting, huh? Yeah. I got some more news for you. Bomb hits Pakistan's spy agency. Yeah, wasn't it the head of Pakistan's spy agency who sent Muhammad Atta $100,000 on 9/10? Yeah, but you forget 9/11 because you can't believe it could have been an inside job. People who go to wars based on lies and are willing to kill millions of Iraqis. How many does it take to make a Holocaust? Okay, they wouldn't kill Americans. Heck no. Who'd believe it? They kill people, but they only kill certain people. Yeah. Is your family on that list? What about the no-fly list? Is your family on that list? So anyway, FHA reserves fall below legal limit. Well, so much for the federal housing. I mean, once again, you're going to have them take care of your health bill? I got news for you. Here's some news. You realize they put the microchip stuff in the new Health Care Act? Yeah, look it up. Find out if I'm wrong. It's in there. It's in the section. Anyway, let's see. Fed new rules to restrict, just more rules, okay? How about worried about U.S. debt? Send your donations to the, the Treasury Department. Because Timothy Geithner, the ex-head of the private banking cartel in New York, that's right, the Federal Reserve, the not federal, the with no reserve system people, your new Treasury Secretary, yeah, he needs your money at the Treasury, evidently. Yeah, Barack Obama's suicide mission to Copenhagen. All right, you got to know this. This is a quick one. I'm blowing through the news, but the whole Copenhagen thing, they're going to do a treaty. They're selling you out again. That's right, you and your children. This global warming hoax lie thing created by Al Gore, Bernie Madoff, Goldman Sachs. What else is new? The UN, started by David Rockefeller, the IPCC report that says carbon dioxide is bad. I mean, is this stupid? Come on. Have any farmers out there, what do your plants need? Do they need water? Do they need sunlight? Carbon dioxide to live? So tax you on what green things need. That's the green solution. You people are so, you're so educated, you're stupid. It's comedy.